Ragtime brought out what you call the hoochie coo, the hoochie coo dance, and there would be dance halls where they would put signs up saying, "No hoochie coo dancing," and it was because of ragtime. It's the forerunner of jazz. Everything's on the and really hit big from 1890 to 1910, and it just took the country by storm.
If you love music, you will love Ragtime because it is mostly sung. The majority of the show is music, not so much dialogue, so it's kind of like operatic in that way.
They have taken the whole form of rag and stretched it. We've got fast rag, we got slow rag, we got in-between rag, we got rags that change keys 8 times on one page. It seems like it's very, very ornate. Just the music is off the charts. It's beautiful music.
So the show is a hodgepodge, if you will, of 3 different stories that all follow very similar patterns. Each one has its own identity, but they all intermingle in telling this beautiful story. Cole House's story, in my eyes, is the search for his piece of the American dream and what that looks like as a black man in the early 1900s, post-slavery, kind of trying to figure out what life looks like, trying to figure out where he can get his piece of that American dream. And then he interacts with some other families, and immigrant stories all come together, telling this beautiful, beautiful story that I think is super relevant even today as we traverse through life the way that it is. So.
And at the very beginning of the show, Father, he's an amateur explorer, so he goes off and kind of leaves Mother and says everything will be fine. It's only for a year, nothing changes in a year. And then while he's off, Mother has to she has to take over the business a little bit, which was really unusual for the time periods. And then she's in the garden and she finds this newborn baby. And then the story completely unfolds and she meets Sarah. And so they kind of open up this can of worms that now she has this other family joining hers, and the whole story evolves. And then when Father comes back, it kind of changes everything. So Mother has a relationship with not just, her family, that one storyline, but then she's connected to Cole House because that's the father of the baby that she found in the garden. And then later on, she meets Tate, which is the third storyline. So they are all kind of intertwined, and it unfolds as the show goes on.
It's a very explosive play. It's representing a very explosive time. But the mother is just trying to assess all of this and take care of everybody.
The story of this show it's a really important story to be told, especially right now in our world. And it's a story that it mattered when it took place in 1906. And then it mattered 20 years later, mattered 20 years later, and it's gonna matter 20, 40, 60 years from now.
I think the best part about Ragtime, and the reason you should come, is to watch exactly how each character's story unfolds and how they interact with another person and how that story interacts with their own story. And I think they'll see the connection between the past and present all in one beautiful piece.
At UPMC, we're pioneering new ways to treat cancer, and we're working to prevent it. We're advancing new technology to look more closely at disease and helping you breathe easier. We perform the world's first heart-liver transplant, and we're experts at keeping your heart beating strong. We're a global team of more than 90,000, advancing care everywhere and delivering it closer to you. UPMC, life-changing medicine.